anybody know anything about Alderman Yielding?
Mr. Yielding will not be here tonight.
Okay. We know something about Alderman Yielding then. Ms. Whitby, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Gibson.
Gibson is present.
Robinson.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Berry.
Present.
Vestal.
Present.
Height.
Here.
And Witcher.
Present.
McCorm is present.
Thank you, Ms. Whitby. I'd now like to ask for us to stand for the prayer to be led by Alderman Robinson, followed by the pledge by Alderman Thomas.
Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come before you today thanking you for another opportunity for us to come together and take care of the business on behalf of the residents of the city of North Little Rock. We ask that you be in our midst today. Not only that, but we ask that you strengthen us to be the good stewards that you've called us to be. Father, we also pray for the men and women that are serving overseas for the freedom of others. We ask that you would encamp your angels round about each of them, and that you would give your angels charge over each of them. We thank you for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded that the minutes of the previous meeting be approved as submitted on the motion.
Gibson.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Berry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Witcher.
Yes.
Wasn't a special call, I don't think.
No.
At least it's not listed.
No, sir.
And now we have communications out of the blanket motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Any council member want any item removed? On the blanket motion, that's items 1 through 5.
Gibson.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Berry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Witcher.
Yes.
I'd like to now ask Central Arkansas Water, and I'm trying to recall.
Mary Crawford.
Ms. Crawford, yes. Would you come to the microphone? I have shared with each council member, you have in front of you a market insight survey from Flake and Wilkerson that deals with the customer receptiveness or response to service that is being provided by our water utility, Central Arkansas Water. Marie, I can turn the floor over to you if you want to highlight some points, and then if any council member might have a question, we'll just take care of that right now. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I am Marie Crawford, Director of Communications for Central Arkansas Water.
Can you swing that microphone a little bit more in your direction? There we go. Thank you, Marie.
Okay. Mayor Hayes and members of the City Council, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, Central Arkansas Water, our Chief Executive Officer, Jim Harvey, and our entire utility staff, I thank you for this opportunity to share some important and very good news with you regarding the residents of North Little Rock and the service they receive from Central Arkansas Water. July 1, 2003 marked the second anniversary of Central Arkansas Water. On July 1, 2001, we brought together the operations of the two municipal water utilities. In April 2002 came the merger of customer service and billing, the aspects of service through which customers interface with us most. We do strive to provide exceptional customer service at Central Arkansas Water, and for us, customer opinions and perceptions are integral parts of ensuring that we meet this goal. Since the merger, we have taken 2 customer opinion surveys, one in 2002 and one in 2003. This evening, I would like to share with you the latest information that pertains to North Little Rock. I provided you with an excerpt from the 2003 survey, just a few pages so that you don't have to go through the entire booklet. And if you would allow me to quickly cover the high points. If you would turn to your second page, the 4th bullet down, Central Arkansas Water commissioned Flake Wilkerson Market Insight to conduct the study of 505 customers, 202 of whom were north of the Arkansas River. This figure is proportionate to our actual customer base, so we had the representation that we needed from North Little Rock. In both 2002 and 2003, the firm conducted the survey in late June and early July, so we took the survey at the same time in both years. For the results, I'm going to provide you with some comparisons between the ratings we received in 2002 and the ratings we received in 2003. If you would go to the executive summary, which is page 4 in your packet. Not actually labeled page 4, but literally page 4. First, with regard to overall impressions, are we all on that page, overall impressions? I think it's noteworthy that 3/5 of North Little Rock customers, or 61%, have a generally positive view of Central Arkansas Water. Fewer North Little Rock customers have a negative view compared to 2002. That percentage dropped from 2002, 9% to 4%, which we think was very significant. Nearly 7 out of 10 North Little Rock customers, or 68%, agree that CAW's service is worth what they pay. 8 out of 10 customers, 81%, feel that the utility service is of excellent quality. The proportion of North Little Rock customers who gave this rating improved from 68% in 2002 to 81% in 2003. Just over 3/5 of North Little Rock customers agree that CAW's service is fairly priced. Nearly all North Little Rock customers, 91%, feel CAW's service is dependable. The majority of North Little Rock customers, 79%, describe their drinking water as either good or excellent in terms of quality. Safety is the most important aspect to North Little Rock customers, followed by taste and dependability. While a majority of North Little Rock customers feel that their level of service from Central Arkansas Water is about the same as other utilities, 4 out of 10 customers feel CAW provides better service. And while 42% of North Little Rock customers feel the rates charged by Central Arkansas Water are comparable to other utilities, 47%, a higher percentage, think the rates are more reasonable. And let's move to communication on the next page. The majority of North Little Rock customers, 76%, indicate they are adequately informed about the safety of their drinking water. There was a significant increase from 2002, from 65% to 76%. Most North Little Rock customers, 73%, indicate that in the future, CAW should communicate with them about the same as the utility does now. And the preferred method is by traditional mail. Let's move to customer service, where we have some really good numbers. Just over 1/5 of North Little Rock customers, or 22%, have contacted CAW within the past 12 months about a problem or concern. 25% had a water leak. 23% had a billing issue. 8 out of 10 North Little Rock customers who contacted CAW within the past year were satisfied with the customer service representative regarding knowledge, courtesy, promptness, and overall service. And then, if you'll move to the last page, cost of service. There are some bullets in between, but you may take a look at those later if you want, or ask questions later. Cost of service. Nearly all North Little Rock customers, 92%, indicate that the charge for water service from Central Arkansas Water is reasonable.
I might interrupt you a
Go
second
ahead.
or two and point out that that this was the first year that North Little Rock customers' rates were in fact reduced, and this is the first of what I understand will be mandated in I believe 10 years, but I think the goal of the utility is like 6 years to continue moving our rates toward parity with Little Rock. So
Yes.
it would appear to me, if that's not correct, Marie, please feel free to correct me, but I'd only think that this could continue to go in that direction until the utility makes a decision, which I think we all recognize, those of us that were a part of this, in going for a new water supply. And at that point, then I'm sure all of our rates would be adjusted upwards.
You are correct, Mayor. The goal is to bring the rates to the same level within 6 years. We have 10 years to accomplish it within 6. The rates north of the river are higher than south of the river at this time.
Thank you.
And as I said, I was just wanted to share with you some of the high points of the survey, which I've done. Central Arkansas Water is extremely proud of the customer ratings, and we hope that you are as well, and that you're also proud of the decision that you made to merge the two water utilities. I think it has benefited the customers of North Little Rock, and they feel so too with the ratings that they gave the utility. We strive to provide a level of service to customers that would make them choose us if they did have a choice between water utilities. And that's not always the case with utilities, but we do want them to choose us and say that they want us to be their water service provider. I thank you for allowing me to make this brief presentation to you, and I'll answer questions that you may have. And I believe that Mayor Hayes has provided you with full copies of the North Little Rock results from the survey.
And before I turn the floor over to Alderman Thomas, I also provide a copy to the press. I assume both of y'all have them. And there are several additional copies that are on the front table at the end of the meeting. Anyone who might want one, feel free to come by and pick one up. Alderman Thomas?
I guess one of the things that I need to ask you, I guess it was Monday night a week ago, that Stone Links, the new addition out in the east part of Rose City, called us out, and they were very concerned about the water because it was real blue. So it came through blue, and they called the Central Arkansas Water, and as I understand it, I don't want to get anybody fired, but the employees said they wouldn't drink it either. So now what we need to do is have that checked out, because it's real blue, and why don't you tell them what they said was the reason?
I don't have the exact words, but it was something about the pipes or something, copper pipes or something. I'm not sure. Copper pipes and electrical wires or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but I do know that Central Arkansas Water will be out in the community taking samples this week. But I have you to know that the residents of Stone Links, are not satisfied right now.
It's real blue. I mean, it's very blue, the water coming
And
through.
let me make sure, I have to admit that I'm not familiar with that situation, but I do have a question. More than one home or
Yes.
Is it an entire subdivision?
The whole
entire
subdivision.
subdivision? Okay.
Anyway.
Well,
Let me ask Mr. Smith. Why don't you work with Mr. Smith will be our staff person to work with you, Marie, to try to resolve that, and then keep me and the council informed about what progress is being made, so we can get back to these two council people plus ourselves.
okay. And I will immediately follow up.
I might say too, Alderwoman Robinson, you called some people, didn't you? Who did you call? You called electric company as well? Because they said there was a line. Go ahead.
Well, only thing I did was in corresponding with Central Arkansas Water, and they telling me that they were going to conduct some samplings of the water out there. I just kind of emailed the people, here in the city. Mike Smith, I emailed Connie with the electric department, Mike, the city engineer, and I also contacted the health department to kind of make them aware of it, of what's going on, so we all can kind of stay abreast of what's going on with the water out there. They're real concerned about it. There's something about a high level of magnesium in the water or something to that effect. But Central Arkansas Water has assured me that they're working on the situation and that they will be getting back with us to let us know what they found out from the lab report.
And also, I may provide you, after I finish, with a telephone number to call directly, because I'm not sure that you talk with one of maybe our dispatch center or Stan Benton, because I want to make sure that next time you have the right person to immediately address your concern.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? So, Marie, we very much appreciate it. We are proud of these numbers, and we'll work with you on that one problem, so that when the survey is done again, the people in Stone Lakes will all be very pleased with our response.
And we do want to satisfy them, and a
And
laser.
the one other thing that I might add is Conway, as I understand it, as well as some interest, perhaps Benton, some others in Saline County, Cabot have made arrangements to join with Central Arkansas Water in further becoming part of what the ultimate significant cost increase will be in terms of that new water supply, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, Mayor. I believe there are 24 municipalities and water user groups that have joined the Mid-Arkansas Water Alliance along with Central Arkansas Water. And at this point, we have made an official request to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for allocations into the Corps-managed reservoirs in Arkansas. So we're waiting an answer on.
We don't want you to start building those pipelines too soon, but whenever they're needed, I'm sure that our approach will be perhaps the least burdensome on the most of us.
You're correct.
Alderman Height?
On your page 3, under overall impressions,
Okay.
you brought up the point that just over 3/5 of the Central Arkansas water customers, 63% through the service is fairly priced. And then on your last page, you said that nearly 92% indicate that the charge for water service is reasonable. What's the difference there?
There are different questions, essentially. In the very beginning of the survey, there are some statements, do you agree with these statements? And so then there were answers there. And then as you go on, we specifically ask some questions about price. And so that's how you came up with those differences.
So is that a little confusing to the respondents?
I guess it could be. We know that based on the survey results last year and this year, that price is a driving force in whether or not customers think that the service is good, believe it or not. It's not so much quality as much as price. So we know that that is an area that we need to survey a little bit more to figure out what they are really saying to us.
Well, I like the 92% better than the 63%.
Well, again, that's where it gets, the questions were more specific, and the others were just, do you agree or do you not agree?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Without objection, I'll ask Ms. Whitby to make that a part of the record of this council meeting.
Yes, sir.
And now, before I think we're ready for old business, there's one point that I'd like to raise briefly and ask for a little help from our city attorney's office. I've been getting several calls. I know several council members have been getting several calls with regard to a speed hump that was installed this past week, and I'm going to certainly admit some liability on this issue. I assume that I was in the chair when this came through. I also assume that my name was probably on the legislation that sponsored it, but I was not very, we'll say, responsive in terms of looking at exactly what the numbers were that were involved in the survey that the Traffic Services Office did. And had I been more aware of that survey result, I probably would not have supported this speed hump. But having not done that, what I would ask the city attorney's office to do is the speed hump on Incas file a resolution that would authorize us to remove that. I found that that during our survey period, and this is the approximate time, in April of '02, a petition with roughly 19 signatures was filed. According to our procedure, that wouldn't be acted on until the following year. So in April of '03, the Traffic Services Department investigated that and posted a sign that indicated, if you oppose this, make this phone call. If you support it, if you have any comments, I guess. And I now have determined, although that report was submitted to all of us, that of that 58, 39 called in opposition, 19 in support, and of course Alderman Witcher opposed the legislation. And the one thing that I'm very sensitive to two things. One is people speeding in our neighborhoods, and it's difficult and it's a real challenge for us to be able to to get an adequate handle on sometimes how to do that or deal with that. We don't have the opportunity, nor do we have the resources to put a police officer in every high speed thoroughfare area. But yet there are some real needs for people that live in those areas that want to have that kind of problem addressed. Mr. Marvin also told me in the survey that of the 1,331 average transits per day, that 193 of those exceeded 30 miles an hour, and there were 30 that topped 42 miles an hour. So there is a problem out there, and I'm going to work with, should this be adopted, I'm going to work with Chief Bradley, and we're going to ensure that certainly these 30, perhaps even these 193, if that average maintains, are not have an opportunity to visit with someone in our traffic court, because I'm not trying to be insensitive to the problem, but I also don't like to force a speed hump on a neighborhood. So I'm going to also call a public hearing and let, because I don't intend for this council to act on this legislation without without those who are in all likelihood supportive of this to have an opportunity to come and address the council before we should act on that legislation, and nor do I intend to undo what was done without this council's involvement. So with that not so brief announcement, if you would move on that at the next council meeting, we will have a public hearing, and I'm asking Traffic Services, Mr. Marvin, I think is in the other room, to ensure, in working with Neighborhood Services or whomever, that we send notices to everybody along Incas and perhaps some way out in the Shady Valley area to let them know in more than just what we might benefit by our local media, to make sure that everybody's aware that something like this. So I'll ask the City Attorney's Office to work with the best way for us to get notifications out that we're going to have this public hearing, and then we can decide whether or not we want to act on that resolution at the next council meeting. But essentially it'll be a resolution to authorize me to remove that speed hump upon adoption by the council. With that, let's go to the old business.
Ordinance 0340, Mayor Hayes.
I'm going to withdraw that at this point. I may bring it back, but I'm just going to go ahead and withdraw that.
Ordinance 0347, Alderman Witcher.
Hold it, please.
Ordinance 0350, Mayor Hayes.
We're going to also hold that. Alderman Berry and Alderman Vestal are trying to work through what they feel, and I'm going to work with Mr. Boyles to see if there might be something else that we feel. Now, we have until when to designate by state law?
I believe it's October 1st, Mayor.
Of this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we need to stay on top of it, and Mr. Boyles, I'll work with you and the two council members to see whether we want to go forward with this or whether there's an alternative that we might want to look at. Next item.
Ordinance 0355, Alderman Thomas.
Read it one time and hold it.
This is an ordinance providing that no privilege license fee shall be required by any individual 65 years of age or older, or any business organization with a majority of owners 65 years of age or older. Second reading.
Now we're in new business.
Yes, sir. Resolution.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Resolution 0368, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
This is a resolution allowing the mayor to authorize approval of a mural to be painted on the flood wall near Gators Restaurant sign.
Move for adoption.
Is there a
Second.
Ms. Whitby, why don't you just run that out? I know there are a few areas. I've pointed one out, and we will ensure from a historical standpoint that that this is generally what this is generally what 4-H, I believe, would like to do. And oh, here they are. I'm sorry, Maureen. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Sarah Hinton, and I'm a member of the 4-H Teenager Club, and this is the plan that we have for the mural. And do you need to pass these out? Okay. Well, this is just the the final draft, I think, except that we wanted to remove the train and add this bridge right there.
Okay, and one of the things I think we did point out was that the old mill was not built in 1828. I think we talked to that to make sure that, that the historical accuracies are indeed accurate. But with that, do y'all want to share something with us?
Well, we have a small copy for each of your council members. And did you have a picture of the whole Bering Cross Bridge?
I was going to get that for you.
Okay, well, I found one, and it's there
Okay.
for your information, and so we'll be using that instead of the railroad, or the logging trains.
And why don't we get Alderman Gibson or Alderman Witcher or anyone other council member for that matter to move to attach this as an exhibit?
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Height, second by Alderman Witcher on the motion to attach this that's being passed around as Exhibit A. Mr. Whitby?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes. Yes.
I can see this was corrected in 1933 on the old mill. Anything else y'all would like to say before we vote?
No, we look forward to having it as a thing of beauty. The kids are looking forward to getting to paint. So this has been the long, tedious part.
Well, we're very pleased that 4-H has chosen this project. Certainly, the historical significance of it, and in anticipating a favorable vote, we look forward to what I hope is a very long-term relationship with 4-H, because not only do we want you to enjoy painting it, but we'd like to, in whatever, 5, 10, 15 years, for y'all to have an opportunity to repaint it, because we just want to keep it in a way that the community would be proud of, as I'm sure you, by the 4-H Club putting their name on it, would also want that done too.
Move for adoption as amended.
Second.
Mayor, one question. There's been a lot of discussion lately about the significance of the Trail of Tears and the crossing here in downtown North Little Rock. And I noticed that there's not anything on here about that. I was wondering if it's possible to incorporate something.
We are doing some research on that. We had visited with the mayor about that, and if we can find the right information from a historian, we will probably put some information there where the Quapaw Indian huts are located on that mural.
And I have a very extensive body of research. Professor Littlefield is working with us of University of Arkansas at Little Rock, and virtually between 1830 and 1858 was the last significant number, but most came by between 1830 and 1840. So we'll be happy to share that with you, and I would agree with Alderman Vestal that that site, unbeknownst to us, is probably one of the second most significant sites along the trail of that period of our country's history. And you and I think, did talk about that too.
Okay, and we'd be happy to take the large model off your hands so you don't have to store it anymore. So.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
Ms. Whitby, if you could share that back, and we very much, well, let me just say this. On the motion to adopt as amended, Ms. Whitby?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
And let us know when you're going to do it, and if there's anything we can do to be of any assistance. We look forward to working with you, and thanks for thinking of us.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Resolution 0369, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
This is a resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 816 North F Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance, and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
Does anybody want to talk about the public hearing on 816 North F Street? Public hearing. Microphone's open. Microphone's now closed. Do I have a motion?
Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion.
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
Resolution 0370, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
This is a resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located at 216.5 East 16th Street in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning such structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
Public hearing, 216.5 East 16th Street. Anyone care to address the council on that piece of property?
Move for adoption.
Meeting adjourned, or hearing adjourned, motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
On the motion,
Gibbs.
Ms. Whitby?
Gibson.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Vestal.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
And Witcher.
Yes.
Resolution 0371, Mayor Hayes.
Please read it.
This is a resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance.
Ms. Whitby, I didn't see this because I think it was filed very late, but you pointed out to me a little earlier that communication number 5 from a Brian Barumbach of Wilson Associate.
Yes.
I hadn't had a chance to read that, requesting that we hold this to the next council meeting.
Mayor, if you can't mind, both the owner and the mortgage company asked that it be continued to next meeting. I'd recommend still have a public hearing today in case anybody showed up, and then we'll have it again next time.
Good advice. We appreciate that, and in keeping with that advice, like we always like to follow our lawyer. We'll open the public hearing on that address, 304 West 7th Street. Anyone here that'd like to talk to us about that address? None appearing. I shall recess, or I'll recess that hearing. We'll give anybody a chance next time to talk about it if they want, but we'll recess and hold that legislation. Next item,
Resolution 0372, Mayor Hayes.
please call it.
A resolution declaring certain buildings, houses, and other structures located in the city of North Little Rock to constitute a public nuisance and condemning said structures, providing a period of time for property owner to abate said nuisance. 1600 Locust.
Public hearing, microphone's open on 1600 Locust Street. Anyone here that wants to?
I would like to, please.
All right.
My name is Priscilla Lawson, and we own that house at 1600 Locust Street. A car hit that house, a speeding car hit it from the expressway, and it got hit. And we've been in with the insurance, the person who was driving and all of that, ended up having no insurance, and our insurance, we've been tugging with them. We have heard from our insurance, and I have taken 3 bids on that house to have it repaired, and I would like to have some extended time on this house before it is declared, before you all condemn it.
Just a second. Thomas, you want to ask her a question? Or?
Yes, I do. But you have decided you want to go ahead and demolish the house rather than repair it. That's what you told me last evening, I believe.
Okay, yeah, as far as the insurance company, I've had 3 bids on that house, and if it's profitable for us to redo that house and all, then we would like for that house to stay there.
Okay.
But if it's not going to be that, then we will tear it down.
The question is how long is that going to take?
I think that we need, what I had to do week before last was to send some papers back to them, and they're in the process of writing us to check whatever, okay? And so I would think that we need at least, I would say 60 days to know exactly what we're going to do.
I'm going to have to listen to Mr. Sipes because very rarely does he get to this point, but a lot of times it's already gone by anyway. So if I could ask you to let Mr. Sipes come on the microphone, we don't like tearing down houses, and we don't want to do it if we don't absolutely have to. But we hate to get to this point and add more to the neighborhood's burden unless there's a logical reason why we may be saving a house. Mr. Sipes?
Mayor, the accident occurred in February of this year. We asked Ms. Lawson at that time to board it up because we're having vagrants go in and out of the house, and had neighbors complain about it. Like I said, we asked her to board it up. We've not been able to get her to do anything. We've sent communications to her. She's very slow to respond. In fact, a year and a half ago, we had another one of our houses condemned, and it's just a It's just a struggle to get things done.
Remind me, if we adopted this tonight, how much time would she have to, before we actually move, to tear it down or to incur any more cost herself?
She would have 30 days.
Alderman Thomas?
Of course, one of the things that I know, it's very difficult to get someone to even work on this very hot weather, and at $1,500 a month is what it would cost her if she fails to do it in 30 days. So I'd still like to give her a little extra time.
Well, tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and hold it this time, but I'm gonna call it for a vote next time unless, there's some concrete understanding with the insurance company about when we're gonna get a check. If I don't know that 60 days is gonna be a sufficient answer. Now, this council may do something different, but I would intend to call it for a vote next council meeting, because then even on top of that, you'd have another 30 days.
Okay, that would be fine. Also, I would like to respond to Mr. Seitz.
Sure.
Because Mr. Seitz said that we had not done that. He had come out there, and I have been communicating with his people on this house about the insurance ever since that time. So I don't know why he would say that he's had a hard time, because that's not true at this time. We had definitely been responding to you, Mr. Seitz, and to your workers, and they came out, which was the next day, and boarded that house up themselves. That had nothing to do, nobody was asking us to board that up, so that was not true at that point.
Well,
okay?
let me just say that what I'm doing really doesn't have anything to do
Okay,
with
that's
whether Mr.
fine.
Sipes was being truthful or seeing it as he thought it was. I'm taking what you're saying, at your word and making a
Right.
decision without Mr. Sipes' comments. And so what I would intend to do is call it for a vote next council meeting. That basically would give you 45 days before anything would happen, which ought to be pretty close to your 60 days. And I'm not sitting here assuming that the council will adopt it, but I think I need to call it for a vote at the next meeting.
Okay, then.
Just a second. Alderman Hine?
How long has that house been vacant?
Since when they hit the house, since February.
Someone was living in it at the time it was hit?
Yes, they were. And the lady got hurt in there, so there has been a lot of commotion with our insurance, with her getting hurt and all of that. So it has been up in the air since that time.
Well, like I said, we don't like to tear down houses. We only do it as a last resort. But yet, we've got to be concerned about the neighborhood. So, help us learn something by the next council meeting if at all possible. But then even on top of that, if the council should adopt it, you should have about 30 days.
Okay.
And the next council meeting will be the 26th.
The next council meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, the 26th.
Okay. All right.
And you're
Thank you
welcome
all.
to come.
All right, I will be here. Thanks.
25th.
Is it the 25th?
25th.
Oh, 25th.
With that, I'll hold that. Next item,
Resolution 0373, Mayor Hayes.
please call it.
This is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 for the 2003 overlay program.
I got a motion?
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. What this is, Mr. Rhodes, in this year legislation, Bob Rhodes. Well, I'm talking about, this is out in the park though, isn't it? You don't have to come up just now, unless the council wants you to, but, there's money in your budget to do this. Maybe you do need to come up.
This is a matching grant. The funds to match it are coming out of the $150,000 trail development from sales tax.
Okay, but so the money's already set in the budget to do
Right.
the overlay,
Right.
and this is matching money.
Yes, and this is for trails in Burns Park, soccer area,
Okay.
Soccerville area.
Trails, is there any road in this?
No.
All trails. Okay.
This is from White Oak Bayou, north side of the soccer field, across the road.
Yes,
over,
and around the soccer
over
fields.
to the wastewater plant
Right.
area.
And the reason for the change order is a $1 increase, it's my understanding, for the overlay because they're having to go through the woods and things like that.
Okay.
And that's the reason.
All right. Any further discussion, any questions on the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
Resolution 0374, Mayor Hayes.
Please call it.
This This is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 for the city's contract for the Scenic Drive Connection Project.
Move for adoption.
Is there a second? And I assume that Alderman Vestal and Berry wouldn't object if they came on as co-sponsors of this. And without objection, we'll do that. And let me just add that we had budgeted $300,000 for this project. It came in for like 190, a little less than 200. With this change order, I believe, 210, 12, something like that. And I have, because of the line item, I indicated to Mr. Sisson to go ahead and order the stoplight for that intersection so that could be on the way and that we would be able to perhaps address that shortly after the first of the year. So I just wanted to let the council know that I've already assumed that was something that was within the purview of the line item and have done that.
You might just tell us what fund it comes out of. But
I'm sure this is the capital, wasn't this out of the capital, Mr. Sisson, or?
This comes out of $300,000 out of the Drainage and Special Projects Fund. It's just some funds that accumulated in prior years.
Okay. With that, on the motion.
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
Ordinance 0360, Alderman Gibson.
Read it once and hold it, please.
This is an ordinance rezoning certain property located at 4108 Camp Robinson Road in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, from R3 to C3 zone by amending ordinance number 3171 of the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas. First reading.
Ordinance 0361, Alderman Gibson.
Read that, please.
This is an ordinance allowing a special use for a daycare in an R4 zone for certain real property located at 314 East 21st Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas. First reading.
What's your pleasure, Alderman?
Well, there's a whole lot of special uses on or special conditions on this, and I have no earthly idea of where they are in regard to it. I want to take it through the second reading and hold it. Move to suspend rules, place on the second reading.
Second. On the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
And Witcher?
Yes.
This is an ordinance allowing a special use for a daycare in an R4 zone for certain real property located at 314 East 21st Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas. Second reading.
Now we're going to hold it. Next item?
Is the owner here?
Ordinance 0362, Alderman Thomas.
I want to read it one time and hold it.
This is an ordinance vacating and abandoning Brother Paul Drive located between Pine and Locust Streets in the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Next item?
Ordinance 0363, Alderwoman Robinson.
Call it.
This is an ordinance rezoning certain property located on Pritchard Drive in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas from I-2 to C3 zone to allow for construction of a church by amending ordinance number 3171 of the city of North Little Rock. First reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on second reading.
Is there a second? On the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
This is an ordinance rezoning certain property located on Pritchard Drive in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas from I-2 to C3 zone to allow for construction of a church by amending ordinance number 3171 of the city of North Little Rock. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules, place on the third reading.
Second. On the motion?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
This is an ordinance rezoning certain property located on Pritchard Drive in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas from I-2 to C3 zone to allow for construction of a church by amending ordinance number 3171 of the city of North Little Rock. Third and final reading.
On the question?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
On the emergency, Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Berry?
Yes.
Vestal?
Yes.
Height?
Yes.
Witcher?
Yes.
That concludes the regular agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to, there's a person who'd like to make some comments in regard to 0361. I didn't realize she was here. She was here.
Just
She left? Yes, she can. I mean, she can. Nobody's contacted me. There's a very long list of special things that are going to have to be done to that property. And obviously, when you create a special use and those things don't get, it's right by Interstate 430. And there was a little concern in regard to the entire, they're using an alley for a drop-off point, and we may be able to bring her back up to do that. But
Okay, any other council member while we're seeing if we can find her?
I guess I need an update if we can, what we might be doing on that Greenlee Lake, because it is...
Mr. Ward's not here, but the last that I was told is, unless somebody's got an update, this is about a week old, but we were draining it. As soon as it was drained, we were going to go in and clean it up. We are also going to try to get somebody to go in there and haul off some of that stuff out there. So I mean, we're treating that. We're going to try to have a solution for it, and I assume maybe is it dry out? Not dry, but is it empty out there?
Well, it's low, but it's not empty. No, it's low.
Well, because they're also the electric department. Mr. Osborne, you here? You want to come to the microphone? I know that there were several at the electric department when I was out there about 2 weeks ago. We're working to do some stuff with those pumps out there. You want to give us an update?
We're going to meet as electrician that they get out there and see about redoing the whole boxes and controls and everything.
But what our desire is, Alderman, is to get in out there and to solve it before the winter rains come in. So that's what Mr. Ward is working to get that thing dry, so we can go out there and try to deal with it once and for all before rainy season hits next year.
I want to speak with you after.
Okay. You want to visit with Woman Robinson after the meeting? The microphone's open. We hadn't adjourned the meeting yet.
Ms. Carla would like to visit with you just a moment, Mr. Sisson and I, after the meeting. If it please.
Microphone's open.
Hi, my name's Scott Miller. I live at 214 West 5th, which is sort of halfway in between Orange and Maple. I have some concerns about the River Rail construction project. I'd just like for the council to consider. I'm going to pass some photographs over. You'll just pass them around. First off, I am very much for the River Rail. It's one of the reasons I moved downtown North Little Rock. I'll be one of the first people riding it and have passes for it. But my understanding is the way it was supposed to proceed is 2 to 4 blocks at a time were supposed to be torn out, replaced, traffic reopened. Currently, Maple still has one lane completely shut down. We're working on Main Street. There's very little work going on Maple. Maple is the primary bypass for the traffic that goes up and down Main Street. And this is creating problems. Those kind of problems, one of the things that's happening is the curb on the west side of Maple Street is being completely covered over in the process of the construction. What that's doing is funneling the water off of Maple Street into the adjacent parking lots, driveways, alleys, everywhere else. It's also ponding in those areas. While that's now not a problem, come wintertime, we're going to have partially ice skating rinks out there because essentially the city water is flowing onto the local properties over there in large areas. Also, CATA, if Maple is open, why is CATA still running detours on their buses, running buses and EMS for that matter as well, but why are the buses still running up and down Orange Street in the early hours, evening, and all the time? If it's because it's too unsafe for pedestrian traffic, all of us who live in Argenta walk those streets every day to the post office, to the restaurants, to the pubs, and things like that. Like I said, also the buses tend to exceed the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit in there because I think they're trying to make up the time that they're losing from going the detour routes. I'd encourage each of you on the way home, drive north on Maple Street. For those of you who haven't driven on Maple between 3rd and 7th, it's like a minefield now due to the Central Arkansas water relocation and the trolley traffic. It's very difficult to navigate. Bottom line is there's going to have to be some rework involved in what's going on with the trolley traffic or with trolley construction. And I would hope that y'all would travel that road, look at what's happening there, look at the photographs, and either coordinate that. I did ask a contractor about the curb out there one day, and I'm an engineer, I'm in construction. He told me that would be fixed when we do the streetscaping project over there on Maple Street, which I think is a little ways out in the future. So, but I would just appreciate if you all would look into that.
We appreciate bringing our attention. I know that that's going to be a mess. I agree. Having not thought about it, but having realized now that that's finished over there, they ought to be opening that back up. Help me out, Mr. Smith, and talk to the folks that our contractor as well as our whoever's helping us manage that project, and find out what the timetable is for opening that street back up and how we're going to do it. I know they've got to make that joinder. They're working on 7th Street today, so there may be some reason, there may not be, but would you help me understand, because I know that's one of the things they did say is that they were going to be just spending a very brief time, and that project has been completed for several weeks now, I think. And then report to me if you would. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second on the motion to adjourn?
Gibson?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Barry? Vestal?